So, Kieran, tell us about this. Why shouldn't under-25s pay tax?
Hi, hello. Yeah, so it sounds very blue sky thinking. It sounds very crazy, but I got the idea from, it was announced in Hungary recently that they're going to no income tax for under 25s as a way to stem a brain drain they have in Hungary as people are moving across Europe for better opportunities. And I saw it and I thought, this really applies here, because we would be silly to assume that we're not going to have a brain drain. At the moment, the average rent is now 15% higher than it was in early 2020, and it costs £2,193 average rent in London. That isn't sustainable. No one thinks that's sustainable. And if it continues like this, young people will move and we will have some kind of brain drain. So I thought Hungary's solution was very elegant and sleek and encourages ambition.
Kieran, I think I read somewhere, I don't know if it's true or not, that Marine Le Pen in France was suggesting that if she got elected, she'd abolish income tax for people under the age of 30. So clearly your idea here is catching on. I guess one of the questions that people might ask is, does this mean that everyone else is going to have to pay more tax in order to subsidise the under 25s or the under 30s in France?
No, I don't think so necessarily, because I think the economic growth that this could actually promote would be amazing. I think firstly, you've got the kind of opportunity costs where if you don't do this and people move, you're never going to get anything from them. But also by introducing people into the workforce, giving them an incentive to work hard, to get more on their CV, to get more experience by the time they're 25, they're going to be making more and they're going to be working more and you're going to get more taxes. But for the economic growth, stuff like planning reform, if things were tied onto this, if things did get better for young people, for the most productive people in the country, the whole economy would benefit. There's an essay called The Planning Theory of Everything by Sam Bowman, which covers this, how the entire British economy is held back by things like high housing prices. And if we just didn't have a planning system from 1947, maybe we would have real economic growth in this country and everyone would benefit.
You know, talking to your friends at university or wherever, down at the pub and what have you, do you feel disenfranchised? Do you feel that resentful in a way because you don't feel you can achieve as much as generations gone before you?
Yeah, absolutely. And people who are politically disinterested, people with no interest in politics, think this. So you've got marginal tax is now 42% for graduates earning over 27k. Which is crazy, and that's from the NI advice, and the NI advice was to pay for a cap on social care spending so that old people don't sell their homes. But then that's even less homes in the market, and politicians that supposedly stand for young people, like Corbyn did, called this a dementia tax. So yeah, people I talk to, people my age, do not think they're ever going to get on the housing ladder and will be squeezed. For even though they earn the least, they get squeezed the most. And it just seems like taxation is a wealth transfer from young to old. So yeah, even people with, I think without party affiliation, I think this is cross-party, I think this is just everyone in the generation is agreeing on this, but no one's really listening.
Make a counter-proposal to you, Kieran, because I am very interested in your idea. I just wondered whether or not if you took them out of tax altogether, they may have no incentive and low tax rates for generally because they wouldn't be paying any tax at all. And I wondered, therefore, to try and encourage them to care about the rate of tax that there is in the country, we could charge them half the rate of tax rather than abolishing it altogether, so that they still have an incentive to vote for a party or to see governments have low rates of tax generally. What do you think? I've just thought about that off the cuff. What do you think of that as a counter proposal?
Oh yeah, absolutely. A proposal like this is incredibly ambitious, of course, and so just anything that can be done to lower that marginal rate is the real hard one on young people. So yeah, to meet in the middle, this is obviously a very ambitious one from Hungary. But yeah, just halving it, but it really needs to be paired with the planning reform, which was promised, but then watered down after the by-election defeat in Cheshire and Hampshire. If you tie all these things together and you stop treating young people badly, the entire economy will benefit. So yeah, I think that's a good counter.
Kieran, Kieran Everson, thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning. And to be fair, I think he has got a good idea there. Yes, it needs to be refined and sorted out. But when he looks at, you've got graduation tax, you're paying more in national insurance contributions, we can't get on the workplace. And that goes back to that article I was talking about before in the Telegraph. You know, have we fallen out with the wealthy? Do the young feel resentment? And they wouldn't if they saw an easier path to job and prosperity. So I think he's onto something.